Welcome back, everybody. This is 2022. You're here with Closing the Gap.
Woo!
I'm Jo'Van.
And I'm Brandice.
You see how we switched that up there? Usually we say our names first, but this year, 2022, it's Closing the Gap, number one, and then we come in separately, so you know what I'm saying.
I think we did that before, but it's okay. It's been a long month.
Oh, okay, maybe we've done it before. But anyway, hey, it's good to see y'all again. I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
That's what's up. I like the dance with it too. Great. Okay. Now you're whispering. I don't know what that is.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, today we are here to talk about a couple of ways to ensure your emotional health is good in 2022.
Listen, you want to start off the year great.
Absolutely. And the reason why I said a couple and not 5, which is probably what I said previously, is because maybe we may do more. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's see what he has in store for us today.
So first off, just a little intro. Emotional health, I think everyone's starting to realize requires a lot of attention. You can't just be like whatever, because we see like what emotional and mental health, the damage it's done when it's not, properly managed.
Right.
And so this year we're not, as Closing Gap as a community, we're going to make sure all of us have a great year. We're taking a step forward in terms of how we manage our mental and emotional health. So first thing, have more quiet time in your life, specifically, whether it be by yourself or with God. I mean, God's always with you, but have more quiet time and spend more time with God. You've probably heard this one a lot, especially the quiet time, like meditation and all that stuff. And this kind of leads into another point. It's hard to process things when you don't have quiet time. You know what I'm saying? You kind of you go through life, things happen, good, bad, whatever. But if you don't sit time and actually have time to process them, that stuff can build up. And, good things building up. Everyone's like, hey, what's wrong with that? But bad things can also do that. I recently had a family member pass away, and I made sure that I had some quiet time where I wasn't on social media, where I wasn't around people. And I sat there and I said, man, how do I really feel? I had some tears, you know what I'm saying? But I really sat there and discovered how that was affecting me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so that's super important. You need to process everything that you're going through. So make sure that you're having that quiet time and have that quiet time with God, because God will reveal things to you. It's amazing. I cannot emphasize enough how much God revealed to me when I just sat there in silence or just talked to him. He will reveal things to you and help you process and work through your emotions. So make sure you're given that time.
I 100% agree, because a lot of things are happening throughout the day, and sometimes you just need to sit there and process those things. Process your emotions. How do you feel about that? And I do want to apologize for the loss of your loved one. I'm so sorry to hear that. But sometimes you do need to sit down and process. And then I love how the second part you said, sit down with God. Because a lot of times we say, pray, 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 and that's great. But sometimes you also need to sit and listen to what he has to say to you. Because praying is you talking to God, you saying, having a conversation. But sometimes you just sit down and be quiet, have that quiet time so you can hear what he has to say to you.
Absolutely. His
response. And that's the time for him to reveal his plan, his vision for you. So that is so powerful. I mean, quiet is just shut out all the noise, because sometimes people mean well, but sometimes outside of noise or whatever, it's all great, but sometimes you get confused, you get like, oh, I don't know which way to go. But that's when you need to have that quiet time just to process, which way should I go?
Absolutely.
God, think about what actually do you want to do, and just quiet all the outside noise. And
100% quiet time.
Yes, I love that.
And before we move on to the second point, I was having a conversation with a group of friends, and I was telling them, I was like, well, shower thoughts don't exist. You know what I'm saying? I was like, those aren't real. There's no such thing as shower thoughts. They're like, what do you mean? I have them all the time. Well, it's like, no. The reason why you have shower thoughts is because that's the only time you're not on your phone, you're not watching TV, you're not doing something. You're just in the shower, probably just relaxing. You know what I'm saying? You can have, and it's crazy the ideas we get in the shower. It's crazy the things that we think about. And then we get out, we get right back to being busy.
Yes.
You need to have that shower thoughts times in other areas of your life,
Right.
specifically dedicated to working through those things. So, did you have something?
No, I think
Okay.
I love that. Like, I think that's just, and I'm glad we kept that as number one, because I think that one is so important.
Absolutely.
Just definitely just have that. I mean, if you don't do anything else, I'm not sure what else you have on your list, but if nothing else, find you some quiet time just to process your emotions, to see, like, and that's the time to be like, because sometimes you can be tripping. So that's another
Absolutely.
time to be like, am I tripping? Am I, like, is that my feelings for that justified? And you can work through those emotions in a appropriate time instead of like live and in action. So sometimes you
Right.
just reflect and like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe
Absolutely.
I am tripping, or
Right.
whatever the case may be. It's that time to actually process your emotions. And the biggest thing is to hear back from God. After all the praying and everything, you need to have that quiet time to hear from God.
And that, I think we covered two of my points. Well, one is, have more quiet time with God, and then intentionally process your emotions. But then number 3 is like, well, why? We're talking about emotional health. Why is it? Let's double down on it. Why is it important? Because you need to figure out what's taking away from your peace every single day. If you don't do that, it's just going to build up, and you're going to have this cloud over your head, and you're going to be like, man, life is okay. You're not going to be excited because you're going to have all this stuff on you. So every single day you need to figure out what is taking away from your peace. And that could be a person, or that could be yourself. That could be the environment you're in. If you like, for me personally, I have my room, the place where I sleep, I spend most of my time, has to be clean, because when I walk into it, I could probably go to sleep on my bed when it's full of clothes. You know what I'm saying? I could probably, do whatever. I could have cups everywhere. But I know this isn't a choice. In my head, I feel that. I'm like, oh man, this is out of place. You know what I'm saying? That's going on in my head regardless of whatever. And I understand that takes away from my peace. But the feeling I get when I walk into my room and it's clean and everything's in the right spot, I'm like, man, Jo'Van, you really care about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
No, yeah.
my car, all that stuff, it's a reminder that I'm important and that I care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, that helps my emotional health. So it's like making sure that there's order in your life and that there's not chaos. Chaos is going to always bring you stress. You know what I'm saying? So try to put order into your life in small areas, and then gradually get them bigger, and you'll start to recognize, dang, when this is in place or this is in order, that's a weight off that I don't have to carry. And then I'll go into the next thing. Address things as they happen. So if you see,
Yes.
we could go back to the room. So if your room's messed up, you can clean it up immediately.
Yeah.
But if someone offends you, or someone you love says something, you just go ahead and say, hey, I really didn't appreciate that because of blah, blah, blah. Get out your system, because that's not going anywhere. I was talking to a friend. It's crazy how many, I love this. I'm passionate about emotional health.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and he's in a band, and he actually does this for a living. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me people will come up to him, or some venues will be like, hey, can you play this gig? And even if he doesn't want to, he'll say yes because he doesn't want to say no. And so the whole time between when he said yes and when the gig is happening, he's thinking about how much he doesn't want to do it and how he can get out of it.
Yes.
And so think about that. You don't think, if he had just said no, he wouldn't be carrying that weight. But instead, he said yes, and now he has to carry that.
Yeah.
We got to pay attention to stuff like that. If you don't have to carry something, then don't. You know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing to be mindful of.
Exactly, and that's really key, because a lot of times we do things to make other people happy, and you don't want to upset someone, or whatever the case may be. But just like your friend who didn't want to say no, he doesn't want to. I don't know why, but maybe didn't want to have that negative reputation of like, oh, he doesn't take gigs or whatever. But at the end of the day, if it's going to negatively impact you, you're always thinking like, oh man, I don't want to do this, or you're just like bonked down from having to please somebody else or doing things you don't want to do, then that's something that's going to affect your emotional health. You have to be okay with saying, no, I can't do that, or whatever the case may be, to please your emotional health, your peace, have peace, because you cannot please everybody. You're gonna have to say no. You're gonna have to upset somebody. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be ugly, but it's okay. You can be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. I can't do this. I'm so sorry. You can be nice and respectful about it, but you have to consider your own emotional peace at the end of the day.
Absolutely, because if you're not in a good place, it's hard to be in a good place for other people.
That part.
I mean, honestly, for me this year, I got pretty much three main goals. It's 3 words I'm going by: order, intentionality. Everything has an intention that I'm doing, and then no. Just mastering saying the word no and not feeling bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Because something's got to give, you know? So anyway.
That's good.
So a verse I like is John 14:27. And it says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, I give to you." Sorry, I think there was a typo there. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. And I agree. This kind of goes back to the first point, having that quiet time with God and reading his scriptures and spending time with him. God gives you, there is a peace there. Like there, I wish I could like prove it even more so, but like that changed my life for real. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And God does give you a different type of peace, even if when things are going haywire or things. But if you're in God, you're in his word, and you're praying and seeking his face, even when everything around you is going away, he can give you this peace. Like, I don't know how it's gonna go, but I know God's got me, and I'm okay. If everything is going crazy, family member died, got money's not acting right, whatever the case may be, but I know God's got me, and I have peace with that. So I totally agree with you. God can give you so much peace. And I also have another scripture to think of when you're not having emotional health and peace. Sometimes your emotions are all out of whack. You want to think of 2 Corinthians 10:5, casting down arguments and on every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Ooh, so when things are not lining up, your emotions are not lining up, and you're not having peace, cast it down, bring it back into the alignment of God and the obedience of Christ and to the Word, and just give scripture on it. So if you're not having those, when your emotions are all a whack, you can always read scriptures back and pray against everything that's not lined up according to the word. So
no, for sure,
definitely. Yeah. But emotional peace is something. Listen, 2021, we talked about boundaries. I feel like a lot. I feel like I always said boundaries. 2022, we're talking about peace. And just get your everything in here together, like, because there's nothing to play with. We've seen a lot go on, and we just need peace and to get our minds together.
For sure.
Because mental health, emotional health is so important that we just need. I'm just tired of hearing a lot of people struggling. We just need to encourage people, educate people. It's not something to play with, and we just need to, like, it's okay to inform and self-care and all this stuff, and just get yourself together. So
all facts, and like last part, kind of to what you said, it's not getting easier, and like the world's getting less and less peaceful. I think we can all agree on that. So if you don't have that peace internally, or if you don't have that peace with God, where are you gonna find it? You know what I'm saying? So don't neglect your emotional health. It's the key message. Yes. Do not neglect it.
And if you miss any keys throughout this thing, remember, find your quiet place.
Yes.
Seek God and have God in your quiet place, and just reflect on your emotions. Let God speak into you, and just let him help you throughout those emotions, and so that you can have that peace that where you're so everybody's searching for. I think that is the biggest one that could help you throughout this time. So
Agreed.
agreed.
Well, thank y'all for watching. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see y'all next episode. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Had to do that one more time.
Bye.